Hello and welcome back to the channel, folks. HeirofCarthage here, and yes, we are back in Total War Rome 2 with another battle at Nemedicina, the ever-famous battlefield. More blood was shed here than anywhere else in the ancient world, including that of the Colosseum. So we're going to have an interesting match. This one's going to be Chimeria matching up against Nabatea. The Nabateans, one of the desert factions, and we've seen a little bit of Kush recently. We know that they are extraordinarily capable, and Nabatea has some strengths as well. Let's look here at their front line. They're going to have some heavy archers. Taking a look here, that's armor at 40. It does not look like heavy indicates attack in this case. It definitely looks like it is armor, and 40 armor is pretty decent for an archer unit. Behind them is a line of noble swords. We take a look at the stats here. This is I would say Romanesque stats in terms of like attack and damage, but much less armor than we would typically see on a Roman unit, and it's only a heavy, not very heavy. So they're mixed in with some Nabatean swords, which are a lesser variant. And then if we look at the cavalry, it looks like there's some desert heavy lancers. These look to be some pretty potent shot cavalry here. And then we're going to have some axe warriors in a back line. Axe warriors, of course, any axe unit in this game is going to cause additional AP damage, much higher than most of the sword units. See here, it's at 10, which is basically double the damage. So they don't deal as much total damage, but a lot more of their damage goes straight through the armor, which can make a big difference in the right scenario. There are some camel archers out here for Nabatea, so they will have something to answer the noble horse archers moving up for Chimeria. And the general here is in a Recum Palace Guard, and I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but it sounds kind of funny because it's like Recum, you know, like go out and wreck 'em. And it does look like this is a, it's a hoplite unit from what I can tell here. So, or at least maybe a heavy spear unit. Battle rhythm, discipline. Yeah, I don't see a wall, so it's not exactly. Yeah, they have a shield screen, which would make them a heavy spear unit here. It's 29 damage spear, 44 attack is very high, 115 armor is absurd. That is really, really high armor. So a very well armored unit. Let's go take a look at the Chimerian line. Yep, we do have the heavy archers here. Chimerian heavy archers, so heavy archers against heavy archers, and they are in roughly the same numbers. The armor only 35 on the Chimerian heavy, though I do believe these guys attack with a spear whenever they get into melee, so I do believe they get a bonus versus large. I don't think it shows up anywhere in the stats here, though, when they pull out that spear. We do have some Steppe Lancers, which is a lighter shot cavalry. It's medium, technically. I got some citizen cavalry here, because remember that Chimeria does have some Greek units mixed in, including these noble infantry, which are decent infantry, but as was noted in the comments, I believe by Hotel Soap, was saying that they're not amazing for the price, but they're okay. So we do have that, and then there's a lot of noble horse archers. There's 4 units of them over here on the right flank, so that could be problematic for Nabatea. I would guess Nabatea has a pretty good shot at just pummeling through the infantry, potentially, that Chimeria has, but Chimeria, of course, is going to try and use its superior skirmish. Cavalry-wise, Nabatea is quite dangerous with their lancers. But speaking of dangerous lancers, those axe warriors just took an absolute lance to the face from those steppe lancers. And that is just a medium shot cavalry. Had that been a heavier unit, it would have been even more brutal. So yeah, Nabatea just pushing a full-on attack, and it looks like they are shooting through some gaps here, and the steppe lancers will need to intercede. The noble horse archer general may even need to come in that vicinity to draw attention, because the heavy archers are now under big threat, and in fact this unit's being attacked and destroyed. I say heavy archers, that's actually, yeah, it's a steppe archer, my bad. So the Chimerian heavy archers, the 2 in the middle, did manage to pull back. And we'll see how these nobles do. I think the nobles will hold out pretty well against some of these units. I don't think they're going to win, but they should be able to hold for a while, and then if the archers can take advantage of exposed flanks like this is going to be rough for Nabatea. They don't want that. Over here, these steppe spearmen are helping to ward off some of these lancers, but they are not going to survive this battle for much longer. They are thoroughly outnumbered. There's a citizen cavalry nearby, but Chimeria's stronger cavalry flank is going to be over here. Look at these noble horse archers getting into the camel and going into melee. The noble horse archers are not incredible in a melee, but they're pretty good, and they have pretty, respectable melee stats overall for a horse archer unit. And you can see that used here again. So this unit charging into the heavy archers. That Nabatean swordsman is not a particularly heavy unit, and it is going to get hurt very badly. Those heavy archers are tougher than they look for an archer. And then That noble horse archer is tougher than it looks for a horse archer. So interesting engagement there. Cimmerian nobles are winning right here where there's 2 of them. But they are expectedly, that's a militia hoplite, expectedly losing there. And then noble infantry here taking a bit of a cavalry charge. That citizen cavalry is nearby. That lancer, though, is into the front of a noble infantry. It's not going to want to stay there for long. Look at this lancer, going to get a clean breakthrough into the steppe archers. They're going to obliterate this unit. Yeah, yikes, that is going to be a lot of kills very quickly there. A lightly armored unit getting hit by a heavy lancer. So rest in pepperonis. It doesn't have to be Attila for that to be absolutely deadly. The noble horse archers here running amok into the Nabatean heavy archers. So that is a good grab for Cimmeria. It looks like the Nabatean archer line is going to be in some serious danger here. However, the archer line for the Cimmerians is also in serious danger, though they do have spears to fight back with, but that's assuming they survive a charge, which they may not. Those heavy lancers are pretty brutal units, and these units were already depleted. Now, that citizen cavalry will be effective chasing these units and kind of dealing them damage, but those heavy lancers are looking to come in here and break the back of the remaining Cimmerian infantry. But then here comes the steppe lancers looking to do the same thing. And hoplites are kind of tough to break with all that armor. And once the cavalry strike kind of fades off initially, it becomes a lot less effective, whereas these swordsmen are going to be a lot more vulnerable to that cavalry charge. So Cimmeria is kind of turning the tide here, in my opinion. They do have units left. They've even got some citizen cavalry way out there. This one's doing a great job of continually intercepting this desert heavy lancer. So yeah, Nabatea is going to start to lose their melee troops here, and they're going to get outnumbered. And nice job cleaning up those archers. There's still a few more to clean up. And let's just take a look around. Yeah, I just don't see Nabatea pulling this one out. I mean, unless this palace guard is just, well, I was going to say, unless the palace guard's really good. It does have 94 kills to only 1 loss, so maybe, I don't know, maybe it can take the rest of these guys. The Wreckham crew is going to wreck them all. Oh. Holy cow, man, that is, oh, they have cavalry counter tactics, too. Man, rest in pepperonis if any cavalry hits that right now. Steppe Lancer charge going to clean up that swordsman. That was a nice call there. So, yeah, the Cimmerians are going to finish off pretty much all the other Nabatean units. That palace guard has still only lost 2 units. It's got a 60 bonus versus large right now. There's nothing large attacking it, but heaven forbid if it was. The archers, though, are going to get to unload into the back of that palace guard now, and that is definitely going to take a toll. Armor or not, it's going to hurt, because archers can output a lot of damage. The armor will certainly help offset it, but it will not completely get rid of it. And then we've got units for Nabatea coming back in here, so I'm going to be very curious to see just how tough this palace guard is. It's got 122 kills for only 10 losses. It's a 12-to-1 kill ratio at the moment. That includes being shot in the back repeatedly by horse archer and other archer units, but those numbers are starting to dwindle as those archers take their toll. It's really going to be a matter of how much ammunition is left on these units, and it could be a fair amount, depending on how early they got run out of the battle and how much they had shot. That palace guard's actually kind of turning their back in there now, trying to shield themselves, but now they've turned back around into that fight. Still a pretty incredible performance off of this unit, and I guess that armor is really probably what is making them special right now. There is the slightly better AP damage on the Cimmerian nobles than the palace guard. At least I'm pretty sure, assuming that spear damage I see is the same as the hoplites I usually do. Yeah, it's a 5 AP, that's what I thought. Yeah, so the palace guard is going to give way, despite a very solid performance. That was a much tougher unit than I had initially expected, but it looks like army losses are mounting. The Cimmerians are going to take home a fairly handy victory. Now, this replay coming to us from AIMA High Constable, who said that he enjoyed me showing Rome 2 videos again, and I have to say that credit is due to Soul and Hotel Soap. I would say definitely Soul getting things started here, and then Hotel Soap has been huge as well, but then also the other viewers have been sending things in, like High Constable did here, so definitely appreciate them, but yeah, I'd really love to pass on my thanks to Soul for getting things kicked off on the channel. Hopefully I'll be able to get to do some more collaboration with them moving forward, because I appreciate kind of the enthusiasm he kicked off on the channel for Rome 2 again. But in any case, yeah, appreciate High Constable sending this one in, and Palmilla here for playing on the Nabatean side. Some interesting play on both sides. Those heavy lancers were indeed dangerous units, and they got some pretty solid kills. That Palace Guard outperformed my expectations there, but just wasn't able to hang on due to army losses. So some interesting units here from Nabatea. Really nice performance here from the Steppe Lancer by High Constable, and then a very solid performance on multiple units of Noble Horse Archers. So Chimeria is showing how dangerous it can be in the right scenarios here. Their archers are deadly, and it is certainly the danger they pose. Their infantry line is okay. It may not be the most cost-effective in the game, but used properly, it can hold long enough to get the job done, which is what we saw here. In fact, look at this Chimerian Noble, double chevroning, 306 kills. Obviously, these light infantry units aren't going to be cutting it against that noble infantry. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Hope you all enjoyed this one. I'll see you soon with some more action in Total War Rome 2.